Hey, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you all so much for being here on this Saturday, on this beautiful Saturday. I'll start with the weather. Weather here in Minnesota is fantastic. I've been waiting for this weather all year long. It is currently 72 and sunny, low of 57 and only a high of 72. So we have reached the high. Hey, thank you so much. Not Kellen, his Prime sub. Thank you so much. I'll definitely call out events here in a second. But I've been waiting for this weather all year long. Yesterday was actually one of my top 10 days, I would say, out of the year, because it was like high of 62, cloudy, chance of rain. Those are my kind of days. 50s at night, mid 60s during the day. And I am happy. So anyways, yeah, it's been super nice. We're getting a break from the heat, and we're getting early September. We're getting late September and early September here. So I don't know. That means fall's coming. So I'm ready for it. I think a lot of people are, maybe, after all the heat and everything that's going on. Anyways, welcome to the stream. If you're new to the stream, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being here. It's pretty laid back. This stream is pretty laid back. We just talk about things in tech, things we're working on, things we might be struggling with, challenges we're facing, or just anything related to tech, really. A lot of people share what they're currently working on, which I love to see because it gives me lots of ideas for things, and it's always fun to tell someone who understands what you're saying, not always me, to talk tech, talk shop. So kind of shop talk for tech. So anyways, if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys are working on something or have questions or anything, want to share something you've achieved or wanting to achieve, go ahead, throw it in chat. So I'll share what I'm working on. You guys probably know what I'm working on. I've been working on that Storinator back there for a while. It's been up here, down here, outside, inside. It's been all over my house, mainly because I had to film it and then rack it and then record it and then test it. But I couldn't test it in here because the fans are kind of loud. Not overly loud, but loud if I'm going to record. So I've been moving it all around. But that Storinator is awesome. So yeah, I released a video this morning, 45 drives, full disclosure. They gave it to me. I said it in the video too. They just gave me a server. One day they contacted me and said, hey, we'd love to help your channel. We like what you do. And it would be our pleasure to help you in any way that we can. What do you use for a storage server? And I was like, how much time you got? How much time you got? My storage server right now is TrueNAS virtualized with an HBA controller passed through to it to a disk shelf that's about 20 years old. They're probably like, "Oh, this is low-hanging fruit. This is low-hanging fruit. We can help him." But no, I kid. They were super nice, super intelligent. Hey, thank you, Binary Nexus Prime sub. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to get into events. Binary Nexus, good to see you. But kindest, nicest people that I work with, they were, thank you. Binary Nexus, how did I get to? Oh, and FW Hope, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But yeah, 45 Drive, just the nicest people I've worked with companies in not a long time. Most people are generally nice, but they were overly nice, and they were just like, hey, Greg Malblood, thanks for the Prime sub, thank you so much. But they, gave me a server, shipped it to me, and then, I complained a little bit about the fans. They were like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We put these huge power supplies in all of our servers. It's just standard if you want redundant power. But we do that for all of our 4U servers. We'll send you a lower power one that's a lot quieter. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was like getting ready to go buy one myself. But anyways, super nice. I can't wait to get this server up and going for real. I think I'm going to throw it through a couple of tests. One of my big ones is it's just even 10 gigabit networking. It's kind of why I was setting up 10 gigabit and testing 10 gigabit, I think about a month ago, one of my videos. So that was in preparation for this. So this has been a long time coming. Like I've known about this for probably 3 months, and I finally got to share it with you guys today. So anyways, that's enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. Let's get into chat and let's get into follows, bits, subs, all the events that happen. So real quick, just like looking through here, A couple of these were right before I started, so I'll call them out too. Thank you for the follow. I'll get to that here in a second. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. Let's see. Takeshi, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Thivender Dever, I can't pronounce it. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Crack Kitty, who is this? What have you done with Crack Kitty? Crack Kitty resub Prime 11 months. How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Figured I better stop by one of these days. Didn't be maffin', but whatever. Good to see you, peeps, again. Good to see you, man. Yeah, good to see you. How are you? Hopefully everything's going well. Yeah, I haven't seen your name in a while. It's been kind of sad not seeing your name. I know you're busy and you got a lot going on, but hope you're doing well, dude. Good to see you. Thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Mafney, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. 103 bits. Yeah, man. CBN Sandwich. That's what I'm going with. CBN Sandwich. Hey. How's it going? Tier 1, 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you for the continued support. It's Barndon. Thanks for the resub. Prime 3 months, 1 month streak. Thank you so much. Not Kellen. Thanks for the Prime sub. FW Hope, thanks for the follow. Binary Nexus again, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Prime sub. And Greg Malblood, thanks for the Prime sub, appreciate it so much. And then CBDCCB17, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. So yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It's super awesome. And another one, Os APOC. I'm gonna go with OSU APOC. Thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. And Maddie, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So let's get into chat. Let's see what you guys are working on. See, let's talk tech. Let's talk shop. Let's talk shop. It's been a while since I talked shop. I talk shop at work, but it's a different kind of shop. Not this shop. Talk code shop and Kubernetes shop, not HomeLab shop. So it's a lot of shop. So let's see. First, let's see who was here first. I know who was here first. And I think this. Oh no, that's not right. Mafney was here first. Mafney was here with the sudo. Thank you so much, Mafney. Thanks for being here. And then shortly after was Salvarius and Any Blast. How are you guys doing? Alfie Trust, not first. You're not first, but I appreciate you being here. Mafney, you were not. Ha ha ha. All right, I'm gonna get caught up. I gotta synchronize these two together, and then we go into Crack Kitty. Here we go. Now we're synced up. Crack Kitty, hope everyone is well. I hope you're well, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope things are good. I'm sure you're just super busy with life and lifing and getting married and stuff like that. I think maybe already or kind of close to it, but I hope you're well. And then who is this and what have you done with Crack Kitty? If you don't know Crack Kitty, good guy. He's in our Discord community. He's helps out a ton. He's just been haven't seen him in a little bit, so I'm glad he's okay, and I'm glad it's really him. Is it really him? Maybe not. I think it is. So yeah, let's see what you guys are working on. Aprishar, FHIR, implementation in my HomeLab. I don't know FHIR. I don't know that. Infrared, health, I don't know. Oh, I see. It's further down. These. Aprishar, it's healthcare technology that not many care about. Oxymoron, healthcare technology that people don't care about. Interesting, yeah. Healthcare is a big business. It's a slow-moving business. It's right up there with government on how slow they can be. Maybe not for a good reason. But yeah, as far as tech and standardization, I always feel like they're behind where a lot of the other companies or other technologies are. They do need help. I need to Google that FHIR to see what that means. But something in healthcare. I used to work in healthcare, so I am familiar with a little bit of terms, but not that one. IoT ME Labs, resub, tier 1, 7 months. Glad to be back. Thanks. Yeah, glad to be back. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Not Kellen. I missed these. Well, you didn't now, and excited to join. Thank you. CBN Sandwich, setting up my MikroTik as a Cascade router behind AT&T for my /29 cascaded router that is a lot of networking. That's pretty awesome. So MikroTik cascaded router behind your AT&T to a /29 network. that's a lot. That is a lot. That is awesome. That is like beyond me for networking. So you are a networking expert in my opinion, because I don't even know where I begin with that. I mean, you know, I can do a little bit of networking, but whenever it comes to, you know, anything outside of a /16 or 32 or 24, I'm kind of like, oh, subnetting. Yeah, that's a thing. But awesome. Hope it goes well. Hope your MikroTik switch works out well. What model are you using? Let me know. Urs Gabriel. Hey, hello. How's it going? IoTemi. I need to pronounce that better, but I'm just gonna go with IoT. I'm gonna go with IoT Labs because the IoT my labs. I'm currently setting up my ProLiance to run backups across family nodes using zero tier. It's so gratifying. Oh, nice. I saw something similar. I think Radal had something similar come out, and it looks awesome. I don't know if you're doing exactly that, but I know exactly what you're doing. You're setting up a zero tier, and you're setting up a secure tunnel between 2 points, and then you're just pointing at each other and backing up. So awesome. Awesome. I have a soft spot in my heart for those who back up their family's computers, because I did it for many years. Now I don't have a great way to do it, but zero tier might be solving this. In the past, I used something called Crash Plan. I don't know. It's Crash Plan sharing or something like that, or buddy backup, basically. Hey, Dragon Skies, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. But Crash Plan had this buddy plan where if you could friend people for networks and trade space, and basically I set that up on all of my family's computers, and they all backed up to me, and it was awesome. That product went away, but now, as you mentioned, I could probably do this with something else now with zero tier. So awesome. That sounds awesome. Good on you. Good on you for backing up your family's PC, because a lot of times they just don't think about that kind of thing until it's gone, and maybe they should, but you know, this is new to someone who doesn't do it daily, who isn't, you know, in this world or this ecosystem, and they just think their files are going to be there. So good on you. Yeah, good, nice work. Back it all up. Do share on how it works out. And if you're using clients or agents and what you're using, because it's all interesting stuff for sure. QX04233, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. It's Brandon. It's Barndon. Trying to set up an LMS. So far, it's going okay. Wow. So setting up an LMS, I assume you mean a learning management system. I'm wondering if you mean at home. Because that's a lot of learning. That's learning how to set up a learning management system. I assume you mean for work, unless you have an LMS for home and you, I don't know, create courses for people in your home to take. That sounds pretty awesome. Maybe one of backups or security or something like that. I'm kidding. But pretty awesome. What LMS? I assume it's a paid product. I assume this is also for work. You should share if you can. Let me know. McNeiliad, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. And LCALL, I gotta get this one. I can't get it. It's LCACCIA Torre. That's what I'm gonna go with. There's a lot of C's in there, but thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. I would love to know how to pronounce your name, so if you could spell it phonetically, that'd be great. Bondi Ben, hi, how's it going? Satisbin said the same thing. Hi, hello. Let's see. IoT Labs. IoT Labs, this is what I'm gonna go with. I need to get a Ubiquiti PoE 24 port LOL. I hear you. Well, I used to. Actually, I shouldn't say this, but I have one that's right next to my server rack that's been powered off ever since I bought my 48 port one. So sorry, I have one, but yeah, they're great. They're totally great. The 24 port ones are it's like the sweet spot unless you want to do something crazy like me, or you just can't deal with, you know, not having enough ports to populate 2 jack panels. But I love it. Real quick, the Threat Hunter, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I haven't figured out yet what I'm going to do with my 24 port. I don't know what you're going to do. If you're doing PoE, it's probably cameras and it's probably Raspberry Pis, because that's what you want PoE most of the time. Or it's any of the crazy awesome PoE devices that Ubiquiti is coming out with like every day. You want LEPD panels? Sure. You want whatever? They're doing it all through PoE. So, but anyways, I have mine. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I keep telling myself, like, should I sell it now while it's, has a decent value, or should I just wait? I've been debating building a rack here in the office for my PC. And then I'm like, okay, if I do that, that will be, basically a switch in here where I have lots of ports. And then I don't have to have mini ones up there. Anyways, I haven't figured it all out yet, but those switches are awesome. I love them. I need to plug mine in. I'm sad that my 24 port is just sitting there because it's so capable of doing stuff. So let me know. Urs Gabriel. I'm just gonna go Gabriel. Prepping for a new job on my side, having massive imposter syndrome. It's okay. It's okay. I know what you mean, especially when you prep for a job, or especially when you start a new job. That's very common to feel that. You almost want to, a lot of people say fake it till you make it, but you almost want to blend in with the people either that are hiring or with the people that you'll be joining on your team. So you don't stick out like a sore thumb. But I know what you mean. Imposter syndrome. I think everybody who does anything has it at some point. It doesn't matter what profession you're in or what you do. It happens. It happens a lot. It happens to me. It happens all the time. Where I think I'm pretty awesome at something, and then the next day I'm like, whoa, no, I'm not that great at it. I try to stay humble though, and I think that's a good quality to have, to stay humble. And I think people will appreciate it when you ask questions, and people do appreciate it when you say, I don't know. I've been around a lot of folks that will never say, I don't know. They'll come up with answers. And, I think it's okay sometimes to say, I don't know. I think that helps with imposter syndrome, is just humbling yourself and saying, I don't know, and asking questions so you'll know it next time. But it's tough. It's tough. It just happens. It happens to everyone. Good luck on the interview. Gabriel, fall is the best season. I totally agree. Fall is the best season. I'll tell you why. Because you get warm days, then you get really cool nights, mostly dry. Sometimes it can go on. Sometimes it can start late summer and go to early winter. Leaves change colors, you name it. And then there's all the sports and football and all that stuff like that. For me, I don't do a ton of that. I don't really watch a lot of sports, but for me, it's like the best time to go hiking and see fall colors, and it's awesome. It means, campfires and cool nights and sleeping with the windows open. I love it so much. Spring, you could argue that is kind of like that, but for us in spring is like really cold, because it's still kind of winter. So you get these really, really cool, wet, days because snow is still around. And then you get warmer, kind of days into nights, but it never totally warms up. And I like fall. I like the cool off better than trying to warm up with snow on the ground. But yeah, I totally agree. Not Kellen. Going to set up 100 laptops this week and wanting to network boot them to make it quicker, easier. But I don't have access to the TFTP option 61 on our network. Any suggestions on how to get around that limitation? I don't know. So I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to do basically, I assume it's a PXE boot or a boot, and then you want the DHCP option of 61 so that you can pull down this image. I don't know of any way around it off the top of my head. Everything that I've done with Pixie Boot is been kind of magic, but I have had to configure stuff on DHCP before. But I not off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head. I'm sure someone in our Discord would know for sure. It's tough if you don't have access to set that DHCP option, because then it's kind of like I think it needs it. But there might be other ways. You might be able to do point to point and point it directly at something, but I assume you need an IP address when it starts up. So, but yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Spin up a rogue DHCP server. No, don't. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I probably would put in NAT it, and then NAT it, and then spin up a rogue DHCP server, so no one will ever know. I'm bad. Shouldn't do that. Let's see. Man of War. I just got a new job a few weeks ago and finally got everything unpacked at my new place. Awesome. New job. Awesome. New place. Awesome. Unpacked everything. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Crabs. Crabs. That's what I'm going with. Hello from France. Hello from the US. How's it going? Good to see you. CBN Sandwich. Patiently waiting for the MongoDB Kates video. It's tough. I mean, I have it running here. It's not. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I'll put it that way. It's fine. You know, what I'm learning about a lot of these services, especially databases running in Kubernetes, is, you know, they're only as good as the operator, or they're only as good as the container or the maintainer who makes the container makes them. And so that comes in you know, varying degrees of like quality, I guess I should say. And not saying anything about the MongoDB one, but you know, MongoDB and I think Mongo in general, like they have an operator, but they charge for that operator. This is, you know, the whole like open source trying to make some money so they survive. And so the operator for Mongo is paid, and then there are some open source ones, and they're just not, nothing against them, but they don't do what I want them to do. I found very few that can actually recover from failures, like my Postgres one. My Postgres one, I can kick the server, I can pull the plug on anything, and it's going to recover. It's going to recover because the operator will orchestrate it and get it back up. With MongoDB, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. If you lose all your replicas or too many replicas, it kind of stinks. So, anyways, it's working. It's totally fine. I just wish I had I just wish there was a good operator for it. And maybe I just haven't found it yet. But I'm happy to share my configuration in Discord. Just ping me. You know, I'm just using Helm installs with Flux GitOps, and you know, it just kind of works most of the time. But I don't even, I think my architecture, I can't remember if I even have it in clustering or replica mode or not. So I'd have to check. But I just wish it was a little more resilient. I mean, you know, but again, like any database, if you lose replicas, they'll be in a failure state, and it takes someone, an operator, to come in there and run some commands to get it out of that state, to get it into a good state. And that's what Kubernetes operators do. They basically automate what an operator would do in a lot of different scenarios. That's why I like Kubernetes operators, because they're cool. It's basically automation for Kubernetes, and not just the typical, you know, Kubernetes automation with deployments and replicas. It's more of orchestrating all of that together. And it's really awesome. When it works, it's really awesome. Like things like, you know, like I said, Postgres, Kafka, they can, if you're using the right operator, they can recover from like a catastrophe, which, you know, that doesn't normally happen if you're just running it yourself on a VM or running it as a service. It's pretty sweet. 10 ATP, currently deployed a new Home Assistant VM and migrating my old instance. Cool. So fun times, as my first instance started at like V0.5. Yeah, that's pretty old. So I don't even know. Yeah, so I haven't done an upgrade from that far back. Just general guidance with upgrades. Unless the config, you can just copy and paste it and put it on the new service. My general guidance when I do upgrades is just upgrade, you know, a minor version at a time. Sometimes I upgrade even patch versions, and I slowly just keep upgrading, test, upgrade, test, upgrade, test. Because you never know, like, what they slipped in during an upgrade. Did they change something in the schema, or did they change, you know, something that had a breaking change that only is applied in this one patch release? So yeah, interesting. I haven't done major upgrades like that for Home Assistant. Aprishar, I wish I had friends that gave me a storage unit. Yeah, I guess I have friends now that give me a storage unit. Not Kellen here. Crackety, hey, how's it going? Just a random question for the stream. Anyone tried to install PressDeskShop locally? Like Ubuntu 2004, etc. I've tried 2 times and failed, and I'm not really sure where. I've also tried VPS using a panel called Hestia and failed that too. I've never even heard of PressDeskShop. I've never heard of it. That's a new term for me. But I hope you figure it out. I'm sure there's someone. There's got to be someone out there. Binary Nexus, thanks for everything you do. No problem. I assume that went along with the sub, so no problem at all. I hope your Kubernetes cluster is coming along. I know you've built it up and torn it down a few times, and I'm sure you've learned a ton. But hope it's going well. Hope it's going well. Keep at it in the Kubernetes channel in our Discord. Oh, here we go. So CBN Sandwich, yes, I've run PS.17 for a couple customers for a couple years. There we go. So someone who knows what PrestaShop is. It sounds pretty cool. IoT, and my university gave me funding to teach my students self-hosting. Nice. As part of my new IT program, I'm rolling out as the professor. Nice. That is awesome. So your university gave you funding to teach students about self-hosting. That sounds awesome. Can I join the class? Can I learn? Can I attend remotely once? Not as a guest, as a student, because sometimes I need help figuring this stuff out. But that is really cool. That is great to hear. I mean, it fits into what we're all trying to do and trying to figure out. So awesome. Oh, you guys are figuring that out. All right, let's go. Aprashar, you can create your own Pirate Bay site, Tim, with a new storage unit. Nah, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I totally could. No, I mean, I have 100 terabytes of raw storage. That is a lot, depending on how I configure my ZFS, I'd probably cut that in half, or yeah, roughly a half, depending on how I configure my array. But still, that's, even if I cut it in half, that's twice as much as usable as I have now, which is awesome. Because I have about 20 terabytes of usable. I think I have roughly 50 raw, 48 raw. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I have 7 drives that can fit in there, and on top of that, I have another 6 that are in my disk shelf. Might combine them all. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it's fun not knowing what I'm going to do, for sure. That's you guys figuring that out. Hey, Techno Tim from Grog. What are you going to do to secure your Storinator server environment? Yeah, good question. I have some security applied now to my TrueNAS server. I have a network that is data only, that where data VLAN, where it's just that and maybe one other thing, and then poke firewall holes in it for the most part, as far as networking is concerned. As far as hardening the rest, I mean, secure passwords. I haven't implemented a password rotation yet, but I have something partially working in Ansible. But the typical stuff I do for all of my servers, it's normal patching, it's looking at logs, it's monitoring, it's putting it on a VLAN, it's firewall rules for that VLAN, auditing those regularly, and making sure that I don't have old hosts that don't exist anymore and that still have access to things that, it should have access to, and all the typical stuff that I do. And that's kind of part of my weekly, whenever I say, hey, I'm doing maintenance or anything like that on Twitter or in Discord, that's kind of what I do it's audit firewall rules, clean up any old hosts that I have in there, make sure that they're still working. I mean, obviously, if they didn't work, if they allowed more than what I had specified, it would obviously, I would not know, but I could set up some alerts to test, test my firewall rules and basically ping some stuff and say, hey, if you get through, then that's not good. Basically an upside down rule in Uptime Kuma, if you ever use that feature. But it's normal stuff, except for, the one piece is like, which I think is good, and it takes some maintenance and it takes some, disobedience is create a network or a VLAN specifically for your NAS, which most people aren't going to do. They're going to put it on some other VLAN with their trusted server or no VLAN at all. So, but I think it's good to segment that, because at the end of the day, that stuff on there is probably the most important stuff you have on your network. So, yeah, I haven't figured it all out yet. I don't even know if it's going to replace TrueNAS or what it's going to be yet. So, Lipora Games. So I got the tail end of the storage announcement. Who is the vendor? Is 45 drives. 45 drives. Yeah, check out my video today. Yeah, thank you, PC Geek. Let's see. Good afternoon from Budney. Hello. Claps. Hellos. Thank you guys. Mysterious. Oh, I gotta get this one. Mysterion Rises. That's what I'm going. Mysterion Rises. What are you using the 45 drivers server? Well, I just kind of talked about it. I have a few options. It's kind of like choose your own adventure. I think over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be testing a couple things, either TrueNAS or Proxmox. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know enough about Ceph. I know that Ceph is super popular. It just takes a lot of configuration and it takes a lot of hardware to run Ceph. And so I don't know if I have the hardware to do it outside of just 100% like lab testing to figure out. And I might just do that. Have one physical, a couple of virtuals and test it out. But I'm not sure. Not sure yet. Stay tuned. I'm as far as hardware goes, I'm definitely gonna swap out those power supplies. I have two 1200 watt power supplies in there now. Kind of loud as they should be because they're pushing a lot of air, but they're also there because they're redundant and because they need to power a lot of drives. And so I'm going to be swapping that out with lower end power supply. Upgrade or downgrade the fans. I don't know if it's an upgrade or if it's a lateral, but they sent me some additional fans that should be quieter. And just going to quiet it down a little bit because it gets pretty loud. But they're meant to be in data centers. But you know, my basement isn't really a data center. So anyways, that's what's going to happen next. But anything else, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Salvarius, yeah, Kitty equals the VLAN Whisperer. That is right. I should consult with the VLAN Whisperer, the head of VLANs for us. Crack Kitty, thanks Tim. Life tossed a few curveballs. I'm just adjusting, and we'll be back to Discord and HomeLabbing again soon. Miss the crew. Yeah, we miss you too, man. We miss your positive energy, and your Crack Kitty musings. Yeah, your thread that I hope it's not archived. That it was pretty good. It's pretty long. Yeah, I'll get you a GH just later. Oh, okay, just later. All right, thank you. That was probably talking to them. Let's see, CBN Sandwich. Let's see, LOL, yeah, networking's my jam. /29s are 5 usable IPs on ATT though. They use 3 of the 8. That like hurts my head thinking about subnetting. I mean, I've done subnetting stuff before in the past, but it's been a while. I've just been working with like flat networks, and it's easy for me to wrap my head around. When you get into subnetting, it's like, whoa, man, my brain. Imagine Dragons are good. NC, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. The Threat Hunter, thanks for the follow. I don't know if I called that one out, but thank you guys so much for the follow, appreciate it. Let's see, MicroTick. So this is from CBN Sandwich. MicroTick router board 201. UI is kind of meh, but lots of power for a $120 device. Yeah, that's what I hear. For sure. It's a lot of hardware. It's a very good value. I think everyone would agree that MicroTick switches are a great value. You get a lot of bang for your buck, for sure. Barton, it's for work. Okay, this is going back to the LMS. I thought for a second, like, hey, I don't want to like make assumptions. Like, I thought maybe you were setting up an LMS at home, and maybe you have kids, and like you were gonna like teach them some stuff and make them pass tests before something. I don't know. I'm making this up, but I figured it was for work. Well, good luck with the LMS and setting it up. That does not sound fun. I'm just gonna be honest. Well, maybe setting it up and getting it working. Yeah, that sounds fun. It sounds like configuring any other service, but then like, you know, running it, I don't know. It does sound fun to get it working though. /29, only 5 usable IPs. Thank you so much. Let's see, not Kellen setting up those 100 laptops with Ubuntu 2004 for a development college. Nice. Awesome. That is a lot of laptops, 100 at a time. That's pretty awesome. I assume, I mean, since you want to do a Pixie boot or boot to network with TFTP, you have most of this automated. So you're going to image them, and then you're going to apply some stuff to it and install some stuff and configure it. Sounds awesome. I wonder, like, how many are you going to do at once? Are you talking like 10? Are you talking 20? are like 100 and just go all out and just flood the network. Sounds awesome. I doubt the network or the hard drives would be able to keep up. You got to stagger them. You got to stagger them. When I used to image, 5 PCs at once, I thought 5 was a lot. Network administrators would tell me, oh, whoa, that's a lot. And my camera just blinked. But I remember doing 5 or 10 at once, and network admins didn't like that at the time. I mean, we're talking, this was a while ago. So then I would stagger them. I would like, okay, so Windows is they're transferring the hard drive now. This is when Windows initializing, and then it boots, and it does some more stuff. So I'd stagger them all, about 5-10 minutes, and it's pretty okay. I'd love to see 100 at once. Let's see. Oh man, you guys are networking, figuring that stuff out. Hubert's. Hey Tim, wondering how you keep all your secrets secure. Any tech, any tech you can recommend. SOPs, encrypted files, HashiCorp vault. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, because this is probably the topic that's coming real soon. So the way that so secrets. So secrets, where do I begin? I assume since you're mentioning it, you're talking about Kubernetes, and so I'm going to focus on Kubernetes secrets, but secrets aren't only in Kubernetes, but I will focus on it. What I've been doing lately with Kubernetes secrets, well, first of all, Kubernetes secrets aren't encrypted in Kubernetes. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird, that they're not encrypted in Kubernetes. They're sometimes base64 encoded, well, almost all the time. But they're other than that, they're just there. So you can use tools like Vault or anything else in cluster to keep those secrets encrypted. You can also tell Kubernetes to encrypt those secrets on disk. But if you do a kube control get secret, you can figure it out. Anyways, so there is Vault, which you can store secrets in, and Vault does stuff like rotation and stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff. But for me personally, for my home clusters, I have 3 now. I use Mozilla SOPs. So Mozilla SOPs basically uses a key and age to encrypt. You have a private key, you encrypt secrets, and then that allows you to do whatever you want with them. You can commit them to a Git repo if you're feeling lucky, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine unless someone gets your key. But you probably shouldn't. Put them publicly if you want, because it's encrypted. I mean, that's if they break that encryption, we got big problems. But anyways, I do use Mozilla SOPs. I do encrypt my secrets. I actually use Mozilla SOPs with an age key instead of GPG, and I encrypt my YAML before sending it in to Kubernetes. And then since I'm using Flux, there's actually a controller that decrypts those secrets so that Kubernetes knows what the heck I'm talking about too. So that's what I'm using. I have something coming soon on just that. So stay tuned. You can put secrets on pause, but I should have something soon on that. And basically, I'm talking about Mozilla SOPs and how awesome it is, because I think it's really awesome. And even if you're not using Kubernetes, you can use Mozilla SOPs to encrypt all kinds of files. We're talking YAML, JSON, YAML, JSON, and a couple of other things. But I've even encrypted SQL. I've had some secrets in a SQL script, and I just didn't want to commit the SQL script with secrets in it. So I encrypted the whole SQL file. Just text, it's just, .SQL file, SQL, and encrypted the whole thing. And I'm like, there you go. Have that, Git. Like, I'd rather do that. I feel a little bit better encrypting stuff. And then a lot of questions always come up too. Like, hey, I'm using a private repo. Like, isn't that good enough? And yeah, maybe, unless someone gets your laptop and your disk isn't encrypted. 2, there's a leak or a breach to where someone can get your code, even though it was private. 2, someone else on your team's laptop gets stolen or something like that, or they lose it, or their laptop gets hacked or compromised. Same thing, because with Git repos, when you do a Git pull, you have the whole entire history there. And so in general, I don't, starting about 3 months ago, I don't encrypt, I don't commit any secret to any Git repo unencrypted private or public. So anyways, long story short, I got more coming on that. As you can see, I'm working on my elevator speech now for that topic. But I've had a lot of thought and a lot of practice over the last years, but especially with Mozilla SOPs over the last 3 months. And I think it's a great solution. And don't wait to use it until my video. If you're thinking about something, start with it now, and you'll be glad once you did. Once you get it converted over and start using secrets, it's great. It's great. So anyways, yeah, great topic. That's coming soon in the future for sure. Let's see. Piece of Geek, either that or go with each with a USB drive running Pixie. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like it. Gabriel, Rogue DHCP, let's go. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have said that. That's what I was thinking about in my head. But I was like, man, all you got to do is pull, get a router. Get a router, put it in front, get a NAT, just NAT everything behind that, and then just set up your own DHCP server. I'm going to get you in trouble. Quite loud. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Thank you. Not Kellen. I'm wanting to use Fog, maybe setting up a rogue DHCP server. Talk to someone before doing it. But if you're going to do it, NAT it. Don't do it on the same network. You got to NAT it first or you'll be in big trouble. More trouble than if you didn't. But anyways, it's one of those things. It's like, do you do it? And what's the saying? Ask for forgiveness or beg for forgiveness? I don't know. Do you ask for, do you apologize or beg for forgiveness? I don't know. But talk to someone before you do it, for sure. It has DHCP server built in. I can't talk right now. My brain is not right. I stayed up way too late editing that video trying to get it out for today. Ampershar, I have the answer. You should have your own deployment network and run your own DHCP server. Have your own switch. That's what I would do and have done. All right, exactly what I was saying. But you still might need internet, and they still might need, it depends, because where's this TFTP server? This is where it gets weird, and this is where my NAT might not work, because if that TFTP server is on the network that you're on, then my solution for natting won't work because it won't be able to get through to it. So, but yeah, we could hack around this for sure. Thanks, guys. We'll definitely try that. Oh man, we're in trouble. Lipora Games, totally on board with the Rogue and disconnect your uplink to the corporate net. All right, we're going Rogue. It's like when I go to a hotel, I always bring a router with me because I'm just like, nope. First line of defense is my router, and then I'll configure and do whatever I want with it after that. So it reminds me of that, except for it's in a corporate environment. Let's see. Binary Nexus just bought my first server rack. That's right. You were talking about that in Discord. It should be here tomorrow. Awesome. Excited to start my journey as a rack owner. Your videos were inspirational. So I'm sorry. No, that is awesome. I do enjoy a good rack. I like the rack that I have. I do want one that is bigger. But it just keeps everything just nice and neat and tidy and in one spot, and instead of just things everywhere. But it's a double-edged sword. It is a double-edged sword because once you get a rack, you try to future-proof yourself by buying a big rack. Because what if I expand? Well, that what if turns into what next really quick. Turns into what next really quick. Once you get everything in there, you're like, okay, what next? Yeah, it's like you go window shopping at other people's server racks, or you go on, HomeLab sales or anywhere, or in our Discord, or the HomeLab subreddit, and you're just like, oh yeah, what is that? Oh, I like that. Oh, I can do that. And you start taking mental notes of all the things you want to buy. Next thing you know, you're on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, like, can I get this thing locally? But it's so fun. It's so fun, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and a lot of people enjoy it. And I think even if you change your mind in the future, the resale value is so high on this stuff for a good reason, because it's a lot of stuff is more than capable to do what people want to do at home, and then some. Little proxy in between. There we go. There we go. Yeah, we're totally we're totally going rogue. For real, do not set up a rogue DHCP server unless you're sure it will not answer anything on the main network. Exactly. Or else people will receive IPs from your range. But if you put a router in NAT traffic, the traffic should be safe. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Exactly what I was saying. I love it how you said don't do this unless you do these other things first. I know what you mean, though. Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want those advertisements to go out and you assign IP addresses to someone else, and then if depending on the network you're on, I mean, yeah, you could trip some alerts. You know, it might just say just that. You know, there's a rogue DHCP server, and then people are calling you, figuring out what's going on. Ben Warb, working on a project to turn indoor-outdoor cameras into 2D top-down minimap. Anyone ever seen something like this before? Working on a project to turn indoor-outdoor cameras into 2D top-down minimap. No, this sounds awesome. Anyone ever used anything like that before? I haven't. But I'm interested. Sounds like a video game. Ampershard, do not do the rogue DHCP server on your corporate network, as that will cause problems and for everyone that's on the network. I totally agree. If you're gonna do it, nat it. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna get big trouble. Let's see. CBN Sandwich. Yep, that's why I still run my Mongo clusters on a VPS and keep the real eye on them. Yeah. I know. Mine are, like I said, mine are Kubernetes. They're totally fine. It's not as easy to scale or recover as I hoped it would be. And this is specifically for Mongo. It's the same way with MariaDB. It's not that, and it's the same way with Redis, but it's not the same way with Postgres, because the Postgres operator takes care of a lot of this for you. So I'm sure the one that you have to pay for Mongo does all of this, auto recovery. It basically, does an operator, does failover and recovery operations, but not the case with the ones I've been using so far. But I have small uses for my databases, my Mongo databases. I mean, all my services that I write connect to a Mongo database. It's just, it's JSON already. It's JavaScript. I do a ton of JavaScript and TypeScript, so it's real easy. And, just using something that's NoSQL. I should probably just convert over to Postgres, but that's a ton of stuff I don't want to do. But I probably have 6 services in here that use it, but if Mongo goes down, those 6 services are not happy. So yeah, I need them to stay up. I need them to stay up. Quite loud. I think I called that one out. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Metal Storm. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And Dio Duran. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Nat Kellen. Yeah, I'll make sure to NAT my new network to the main network. There you go. There, we figured it out. Not 100% sure if I have a spare router. Would just running fog setting its built into DHCP server and plugging that server into a switch, would that work? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't even know what fog is, to be honest. I don't. Sovac, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I don't recognize the acronym. Nat Kellen. Let's see. Could use pfSense. Yeah, good one. Don't know if it's still around, but you could use DRBL Live. Dribble. Gabriel. If the switch is isolated and not plugged into the main, that would definitely work. There you go, too. There you go. Diskless. There you go. Diskless. That's hard to say. Remote boot on Linux. I like it. It has a DHCP server with bootp and Pixie. There you go. There's an option too. Yeah, from a live ISO. Yeah, good call, PC Geek. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll be separate. Definitely going to try it on Monday. You didn't hear it. From here. Don't. You could blame it on me. But don't blame it. Yeah, you could blame it on me. No, don't. I don't know. Yeah. I would ask for that. What's the saying? It's better to ask for permission than to beg for forgiveness. But I think they say the opposite. It's usually better to ask for forgiveness than to, beg for permission. I don't know. It goes something like that. But most of the times it's easier to say I'm sorry than to ask someone, because most likely they're going to say no. But I feel like you should, in a corporate environment, you should be good tenants of the network, especially if in your IT. It's like same team. Sometimes. So let's see. PC Geek. I used to run Clonezilla off it. Yeah, good call. I use Clonezilla too. Yeah, for sure. Might look at that as well. Yeah, Clonezilla. Yeah, you could boot right to network and then point it directly at Samba share or NFS share or all kinds of shares, or directly at an IP address for sure. Let's see. IoT. Have you ever thought about taking a look at the Docker container store down? I haven't. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look at it for sure. I don't know what it is. Probably storage stuff, I assume. Storage stuff, I'm guessing. Matten's Place, thanks for the fall. Appreciate it. Welcome. Ben Warb. Ever use Splunk? Yeah, I have used Splunk. It's been a while. I used it way back in the day, before, maybe Kibana and Elastic and, the whole Elk stack existed back then. I didn't know about it, but yeah, I used Splunk. Used it for, connected my routers, connected Windows machines, connected Linux servers, piped all of my events from all of my Windows machines into it, and then hit the limit really quick on how much they'll index and how much they'll index and process. I don't know if they still have that limit in place. I assume they do, because that's the freemium model. But yeah, it was great. Like at the time when I used it, it was like lightning speed compared to anything else. And so it was great. I'm sure it's come a long way in 10, 15 years. But that was the last time I used it. And I think like back then, I think they would only like index like 500 megabytes of logs, or maybe it was more. I can't remember. I mean, it was pretty low even back then. But I'm sure it's great. But since then, I've been using using either the Elk stack or cloud logging. If you're in the cloud, a lot of cloud providers give you logging utilities for your services running there. Elk stack if you're not. And then at home I use Loki, which is by Grafana, which is pretty nice too. But Elk is great. It's great. Or Splunk was great when I used it, but it's been a long time. Zeros and onesies. Good afternoon. How's it going? Mysterian Sunrise. Nice. Have the same model, but more local server and NAS. All right. Telias, which Kate storage solution would you use for a small specs cluster? Yeah, good question. So Kubernetes storage. So which storage class or which storage provider would I use? I've been all over the place. I've been all over the place. I've done local storage on nodes, which was not good, but it was there. I've used NFS with the NFS Subdir Provisioner, weird name, but there's this tool that will give you storage to all of your pods through NFS. And then I've used Longhorn as well, which is nice, which gives you block storage within your cluster, which is super nice. In block storage, I usually prefer because I don't run into weird permissions like I do with NFS. I haven't done Rook, which is backed by Ceph. And then there's the Democrative, I forget what it's called, but there's basically a plugin you can use for TrueNAS to use storage on TrueNAS directly with Kubernetes too, which is pretty awesome. I forget the name. It's something like the Democratic CSI plugin or something, going off the top of my head. So you have those options. If it's a small cluster and you have NFS already and you're not going to run a ton of stuff in there, that might be a simple solution, is to use the NFS Subdir Provisioner. If it's a small cluster and you still have fast disk and decent sized disks in there, you might want to consider Longhorn. But it's going to take some resources. It's going to spin up agents or pods on all machines. It's going to synchronize and replicate that storage in there. And if it's a small cluster, you might not want to take that overhead of something like that. You're running TrueNAS, the Democratic CSI plugin, I think that's the name of it. might be a good option because you already have TrueNAS. And then if you do that, you can do iSCSI or NFS, which is nice because then you don't have to just only do NFS. So you have options. I've gone all through those except for Rook and the Democratic one on TrueNAS. I've flip-flopped so many times. Now I'm 100% Longhorn because I'm not dealing with the NFS anymore. NFS is great until it's not anymore. And when it's not anymore is when you have some service that has a SQLite database or something that can't write either fast enough or have the permission to read and write like database locks and stuff like that. It gets too crazy. And plus, like for me personally, in my cluster that I have, I want my storage in my cluster so that it becomes HA. If I have Longhorn, my storage becomes HA. I can shut my NAS down. Doesn't matter. All my storage is floating around in one of my 7 or 8 Kubernetes nodes, and it's just using it. One of those nodes goes down. It attaches one of the replicas to one of those nodes to the pod, and it's good to go. You know, and then it will replicate. It'll see that one node was down, and it will say, "Hey, I only have 2 replicas. I need 3 replicas of this data set." And boom, another node all of a sudden is like, "Hey, I'll do it for you," and then they just replicate the storage. So at least that's how I have mine configured. I have 3 replicas of my data floating around in Kubernetes at any one time. But I don't have a ton of data in Kubernetes. You know, I'm not like my media collection's not in there. It's nothing like that. It's configs. It's, you know, local storage for pods. You know, a couple hundred megs here and there. I think my biggest one is probably like 10 gigs, and that's pretty big. That's pretty big for a Kubernetes, you know, PVC, at least for me. But it's backing all of my logs for Loki. So even my Loki logs that need to write to Longhorn, and that's replicated inside. And I've said, hey, this storage can use up to 10 gigs. I think it's using about 5 or 6. So anyways, I could talk for a long time on Kubernetes storage because it's super interesting. If you want the smallest footprint and you have TrueNAS, I would say check out the Democratic, I don't even know why it's called Democratic CSI plugin or something like that. If you have a small cluster and you have NFS somewhere and you don't have TrueNAS, check out the NFS Subdir Provisioner. But if you want to do HA storage in cluster, check out Longhorn or check them all out. It's super easy to spin up, and Longhorn's really easy to spin up and take away. It's just like you deploy it, you don't like it, you take it away, and it's pretty cool. And it'll use unused disk space on each node for storage. It's pretty awesome. Aperture, you can keep the storage unit in your living space during the winter time to keep the home warm. Your thermostat will prevent your heater from turning on. I hear you. I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of what happens now. I mean, my server rack now, I wouldn't say heats the basement during the winter, but it's a little bit warmer than it normally would. And it's a little bit warmer during the summer too, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It kind of stinks. I need to figure something out. Now I'm at the point where I'm going to punt this problem until next spring. Because when I redid that server room, which was last, I think, November, I thought, great, I have all winter to figure this out. You know, as soon as summertime comes, I'll have a solution in place. This magic solution to get all this hot air out. Nah, I didn't do any of that. Because I really haven't found a great solution. I'm okay at implementing stuff, but a lot of the times I just don't have the knowledge to even start. I need to consult with someone in HVAC to figure this out. Because I want to do it right. And so anyways, as I was saying, it's almost fall now. It's getting cooler, so I don't need to really worry about it until spring again. But I made it through this summer. This is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep justifying, say, well, I made it through last summer. Like, why can't I make it through this summer? So we'll see. Not Kellen, definitely stagger them for sure. If you don't want the boot storm of death coming up. I mean, it's the same with virtualization. You don't start all your virtual machines at once. And with disk imaging, you don't disk image all your machines at once. You stagger them for sure. Easier, there you go. Angel of the Odd. Thank you. Easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Yeah, that is awesome. That's exactly what I was going for. I can never remember. I can never remember the concise version of that. Thank you. Oh, it's easier to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission. There we go. That's the one I was thinking for sure, for sure. Because a lot of times it is for sure. Yeah, thank you guys. Big racks are better. There's a point at which they're too big, and so for me, 42U is a little bit too big. Not because I wouldn't be able to fill it, but because I can't get it in the room that it's going to be in. So I'm thinking 32, 36 might be the sweet spot for me. Angel of the Odd had a security, quote unquote, guy set up a rogue DHCP server, tracked it to his switch port, shut down the switch port, and all the desktop issues disappear. He denied it. All right, see, this is why I'm telling you that you might want to ask to do it before, because you might have someone that's gonna track you down and it's gonna shut your stuff down, and then you're gonna be like, what do I do now? Now I gotta go apologize when I probably should have asked first. And then, you might be able to just say, hey, this would all be easier if you give me this DHCP, 61 option, at least on this subnet or this VLAN. Just give me that option only on this VLAN. That's kind of what happened when I was in tech support. They got mad at us for imaging on all these VLANs, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are imaging lots of machines," and we're like, "Yeah, we got to get these machines out. We got to replace like 2,000 machines. Like, what do you think?" They're like, well, we can't enable. We wanted Pixie Boot because we wanted to be able to boot them up in place, image them in place, and then start them back up and then remote into them. And they were like, yeah, we can't do that. So anyways, they ended up giving us subnet specifically for our imaging system. And we moved the server to that subnet or that VLAN, and then we could do it from there. And then we would just, if it was a remote machine, just go in the switch, remotely change the port, set the VLAN, and then remote in the machine, tell it to do a Pixie Boot on next boot, and boom, we'd image it. And then flip it back to the right VLAN it was supposed to be on. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So it might be easier. If you bring this problem up, they might just say, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll enable that option. Or they might just say, you know what, we'll give you your own VLAN for this stuff. Lots of ways. Then go rogue. Rogue should be the last thing you do. But I know how it is. If you have a bias towards action and you think you want to get something done and do it all yourself, sometimes rogue is just what you have to do. T-Stein, if you're a disgruntled dev with access to the servers in the server network, absolutely do set up a rogue DHCP server and have it answer on the main network as the same IP range. Now this is getting, borderline like combative and destructive. Oh man, yeah. Angel of the Odd, a good network admin will have DHCP snooping turned on and the switch ports and auto shut down your port. I like it. And then say those are few and far between. Guarantee it. Oh man, this is good stuff. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna look for mentions or something directly to me because I need to wrap things up. I went a little bit over today. Let's see, real quick. This looks like a question that might need my answer. Are you familiar with the best way to host Nextcloud? My current thinking is to host it on Linux, but store the data on TrueNAS Core. Is this possible /wise? If so, what's the best way to hook up Nextcloud to a TrueNAS dataset? Retro PCD, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Yes, I'm familiar with hosting Nextcloud. I've done it in Docker. I've done it in Kubernetes. I haven't done it on a virtual machine. Should work. But my current thinking is to host it on Linux, but store the data on TrueNAS Core. Is this possible and or wise? If so, what's the best way to hook up Nextcloud to the TrueNAS dataset? So I assume I'll take this. I don't know how you plan on running it, if it's going to be a virtual machine, if it's going to be a Docker container. If you're running TrueNAS Core, is it going to be a jail or whatever they call them? I think they're jails because it's BSD, free BSD. You could do that. So you could run as a jail, free BSD, and then you create a data set. I mean, you got all the parts right there. Create a data set, and then you mount that data set, and then you use that data set. I mean, you have it down right there. You just have to use, a mount point for wherever that data is stored with TrueNAS. I mean, I haven't done a ton of stuff with jails. I've done a ton with Docker, and it's that same kind of idea where you map a volume, and then you go from there. You basically say, hey, this is where the data is stored. I don't know if it's that way on jails. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've done very little in jails. But if you do it in Docker, that's kind of the way that you do it. I assume you mean it's all running on the same machine. But this is kind of how the apps on TrueNAS Core work. You can install apps and tell them that your data set is this data set. You can tell them that your mounts or your data is this data set that you've already created. I mean, that's going to be the best bang for your buck for sure. But I think you got all the parts there. I mean, I think you answered your own question there. But you say, is it okay to host it on Linux? I mean, if you're going to use, well, this is where it gets weird. This is where it gets weird because like you're going to host Nextcloud on your NAS. If you only have a NAS, yeah, it kind of makes sense. But if that's going to be public, that gets kind of weird because now you're pointing, you're port forwarding ports to your NAS, which has your, most private data on it from the public internet. So it might be wiser to host it on something else and then do a mount back to TrueNAS. Maybe NFS, but I think NFS is one of those ones that what I was talking about earlier, if you're going to run the SQLite version of Nextcloud, you might run into problems with the permissions. Anyways, long story short, I would probably not host Nextcloud on your NAS unless you just have a single machine. That's the only machine you have. But yeah, I would host it on something different, maybe Linux, but I would probably put it on Docker. And then if you want, you could mount over NFS. Albeit you might have problems with SQLite, so then you'll need a database. In a long story short, I think you have all the parts there. Yeah. Ping me in Discord. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out like what you have and what you mean by just should I run it on Linux? Because there are ways to run it on Linux for sure. All right, last one, because this is probably a follow-up. Reason Tech. Honestly, the TrueNAS Nextcloud is so feature deprecated. It makes sense to use Linux version. Yeah, there you go. But I think that broke the camel's back was that I could do. But the thing that broke the camel's back was that I could not change the data mount point in Core. Just couldn't figure out how to do it. I don't want to have to move all of my data from where it was in Nextcloud data. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Just, post it somewhere. We have a lot of people who are using Nextcloud configured a lot of different ways. I think a lot of people are doing it on Docker. It's because it's great, because it's easy to upgrade, easy to mount, easy all around, I guess, once you understand Docker. So it might be a good entry point into learning Docker. So, or not. Hey guys, 4:20 on the dot. Hey, I got some stuff to do. No, hey, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. There were subs, there was bits, there was follows, there was all kinds of stuff, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you just being here for sure. I love being able to talk tech, like I was saying early in the stream. It's super fun to be able to talk shop, talk HomeLab shop. It's fun. I have to wait all the time. I got to wait all week to talk shop. I have some buddies now. I have some buddies that can talk shop, even at work now too. So I converted someone. So it's super fun to talk about this kind of stuff. But I greatly appreciate you guys sharing what you're working on and joining in the fun. Don't go rogue. Moral of the day, don't go rogue unless you have to. So anyways, I will be back next Saturday here on Twitch, and then I might have something for you this week if I can wrap it up real quick. But I might have something for you this week. So either way, we have a wonderful Discord full of, I think, 73, I'm going to guess 73, 7,400 people that are in there. It would be great if you joined. You don't even have to say anything, a lot of lurkers, but there's a lot of information and a lot of good conversation that happens in there about the same kind of stuff we're talking about right now, or solving problems. We have a lot of experts in a lot of areas. And I try to act like I'm an X and I don't try to act like I'm an expert, because there are a lot of people in our Discord server that are a lot smarter than me that are answering questions, and I greatly appreciate it. So anyways, that was a lot to say in one breath. Hey, have a great rest of the Saturday, and I will see you next week. Be good to each other. Take care, folks.